as you give, remind yourself, like, you get to do this.
Yeah.
You have these resources now.
Yeah, I'm
And
smiling
even if you
because I
don't
knew what you
really,
were going to say. That's good.
yeah, did you? It's like a wavelength right
Yeah.
here.
Hello and welcome to Center for Victory's podcast of Your Best Day Yet. It's Center for Victory. We're here to help unlock, reinforce, and enrich relationships through personal and professional development. With me today, we're doing a special episode here with our Chief Joy Officer, Miss Faith, who has just not too long ago, a few weeks ago, actually quite a few weeks ago, joined our team full-time. We're really thankful, and that's what we're going to be talking about today is thankfulness, giving, gratitude. I'm extremely thankful and grateful that you came on, finally left her full-time job to come on and kick it with Mom and Dad in the company at Center for Victory, and we're really can't beyond ecstatic that you're part of the team now. And we're going to kind of dive down into this whole idea, especially with the holidays right around the corner. Thanksgiving's coming. We're going to talk about giving and gratitude a little bit. How about that?
Yeah, and I have to say, this is episode 200, so this is a kind of big
okay.
deal.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
That's why we have you.
This is
That's
a big
why we
deal.
have you. So let's celebrate that. I wish I would have had the cowbell. That's definitely a cowbell moment for those of you that don't know. I would have been doing this if it wasn't for Faith.
Yeah,
She
you're welcome, guys.
She took me to this. I mean, you were really young when that happened. You took me out to VidCon in out in California a long time ago, and I did not want to be down with the general population, so I got a VIP ticket and didn't know what that was all about. I just didn't want to be in all the traffic. Like I didn't want to be there all day, but that's when and this was like the first or second year that they ever had it. So I went and I was just blown away by what people were doing, what they were talking about. I mean, meeting somebody that, again, I know that's where we're at now, but think back 10 or plus years ago. I mean, you got guys playing video games that are streaming and just talking about them playing a video game. I'm like, people really watch this? This is ridiculous.
And I was people.
Yeah.
So.
And anyhow, but congratulations. Thank you for getting us here. Thank you for everybody that's gotten us here so far. Those first ones, I hope we're getting better. I think we're getting better. I feel like I'm getting better.
We're getting better.
But man, those first ones were, I was kicking and screaming. I didn't look forward to it like I do today. I mean, I already recorded one this morning, have another one this afternoon. But let's get into giving a little bit and what that means. So giving to me, and you can go into this as well, is just more than just money. It's about your time. A lot of people don't know how to give emotional support, or there are people that are really good at that, like acts of kindness, just total support, a phone call, things like that. It's not just about financial contributions, especially this time of year. So what do you think about that? Where do you find your best groove in giving?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I love giving, but I was just talking in the That's What He Said episode, which if you haven't watched, you should. But I was just talking about how I feel like the essence of our family has been like servant leadership and giving. And so I think all of the areas are kind of, I've seen myself shine in each of those areas. But the easiest one for me is words of affirmation, I think, because that's my favorite to receive too. Just being able to meet somebody and give them that, that validation, or notice something that most people don't notice about them, or that kind of thing. But I mean, quality time, I think you just have to know who you're giving to and then kind of tailor it to what they need. I think of your platinum role. I think that's all about giving, treat others how they need to be treated. So give to others how they need to be given to, I guess.
Well, I didn't know you were going there with this one, but I like that.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, I
didn't know
really like that. Yeah, well, when you give to people, I mean, it's like we do give out a lot from how we like to be given to or how we like to be treated.
Right.
But being the kind of giver that goes that step above, right? I'm not a big quality time kind of person, but your mother is. And it fascinates me because I don't have to do a lot, and that's hard for me because I like doing. I like working. I like
Yeah.
have go, and she's like, yeah, I don't need that. Like you just need to be present, and that's very difficult for me. And I think nowadays you'd have to ask her, but I mean I think she appreciates the fact not only that I'm giving it to her, but that she knows that it takes a lot of effort. So when I do give it to her, I think there's more appreciation there. At least that's how she's communicated that to me.
Yeah, but I think also she's communicated that to you, which I don't think is something that, like for this example in particular, like comes natural to her. So I think, yeah, it's like you can't, if you really want to give, you can't have expectations with it. So her voicing that means a lot to her and how she knows that's difficult for you, I think is showing that she didn't have the expectation that you would really like go above and beyond. So I think that's her giving you grace through that too, which that's why I feel like that's our whole essence is kind of being
and Hallmark
that
movies
altruistic.
aren't horrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna put that on loop for the next month.
Yeah,
all of December.
Well, let's not do that. But yeah, I mean, those are the kind of things. Like she still lets me make fun of them, but I will sit down and watch it with her, and she appreciates that.
But then you're 3 movies in, and you're like, "How did we get here?"
I'm like, I've watched this before. No, we haven't. Yes, we have. I'm like, I can tell you how it ends, but anyhow, that's a different podcast for a different day. But you mentioned our family and things like that, and just time, how people need to be treated, how we give to them. But let's dig into this whole idea of, and I think you've seen it, so maybe you can give us some good examples, is the ripple effect of giving. Like once you start down that path, what happens?
Oh, that's a loaded one. I mean, I have like specifics when, Josiah was playing soccer, and I don't know why I always think of this one, but when you and Mom bought the Letterman jacket for one of the kids on the team, and then that kind of rippled into like the rest of the team giving to this kid that needed it, or even just quality time. I mean, my biggest thing with you was just when you would sit there and not say anything. It used to drive me nuts. But I was like, oh, you're giving me the space to actually talk and be listened to. So I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of different examples. All of the trips, of course. I mean, that was always fun. I said I wanted to go to Utah, and then magically we were in Utah, and then we were in Utah again, and then we were in Alabama, then we were in Paris, and we knew no French whatsoever. And
oh, I did.
Oh, right. From
bonjour.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
So I think just all of that.
The Beauty and the Beast. That's where I learned my French.
You know what I was thinking too is when you give, this is so your personality, but the other day at the curtain call event, when you're standing up there, you're trying to help with the auction, and you're yelling over the balcony, and of course everybody can hear you, so you do project well. Maybe that's a gift. I don't know.
I mean, it just, I've always found like that when you give, it always comes back, right? And I remember
the boomerang, if you will.
Yeah. Do you talk about that?
That's last week's episode.
Okay, yeah. So that's probably why it's in my head. But when you give, it just returns tenfold, and I think people get it misconstrued sometimes. I think just because you might give like a financial gift or whatever doesn't mean it's coming back financially. It can come back in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quote in my office on my board in front of my desk, and how it's set up, and it says, if you didn't come from a rich family must come from you. That doesn't mean to me financial.
Yeah.
That means living out of abundance, and I think that's what giving does, is allows us to
live rich, I guess.
Yeah, well, it allows us mentally to live out of an abundance, because when you give, really what you're saying is there's enough, right? Mm-hmm. There's enough, and if you do it enough times, it actually tricks your mind into believing that, and it actually does become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Although I know your mother gets nervous sometimes when I do that, like at the curtain call. But I also think it's contagious. I don't know how we want to unpack this, but we were talking about the ripple effect. Are there any times where you maybe were either reluctant in giving, decided to give something, whatever it was, and then what happened? How did it reciprocate?
Well, I don't think giving has been a weak spot for me just because I think watching you and mom, I kind of grew into a big altruist. So mom always explains like I would give the shirt off my back, and I would. So I think there have been times where I've had to set boundaries that I didn't want to set.
Mhm.
So finding that balance of giving my time and being able to give other ways, even if it's just like a phone call instead of like going, making myself burn out a little bit. But I think as a kid, I really struggled with that because when I wanted something, I didn't understand why I wasn't getting something. There was one time, this is really specific, but there was one time we were at the store and I wanted this doll, and mom was like, "You have all these ones at home, like." Pulled the like, there are kids who don't have this kind of thing, and I was so mad. And I went home and I was so mad at her. And then Josiah looked at me and he was like, we could play together. And that kind of stemmed into Josiah and I's relationship and how close we were because he saw I was upset. He gave me that reassurance and that quality time that I needed. And then we kind of became best friends. Not that we weren't before, but we were kind of inseparable after that. And then you guys would go somewhere and we'd make those videos of my dolls and his like NASCAR cars playing together. It was so, I just think of palm trees. But yeah, that's a reference from one of the videos. We thought we were videographers back then. But I mean, even that then, so then we started filming all of that stuff. Then I really started to get into all of the media, and now we're here. So I think it took the perspective change from mom and maybe a little bit of not entitlement, a check yourself before you wreck yourself from mom for me to be able to give the way that we do. But I think, again, it goes into your example. I mean, are you surrounding yourself with people who give like it's going out of style, or they spread love like they're made of it? And I think we have. I think our Bible study has been that for us, whether we've needed more prayers or they have, or going to lunch or dinner or whatever with them. But overall, like I think our support system allows us to give, and I've seen so many people in our community give so freely. I mean, even our church is such a great example of that. So just surrounding myself with it, and then it's really like now I just want to give all the time instead of receiving, and I think that's because of moments where mom checked my attitude or you showed the giving. Or
Well, I just think, for me, and I really haven't talked a whole lot about it because for the longest time, I erased it from my memory because it was so, I don't know, devastating, traumatic, whatever you want to call it. But I saw the giving nature of people to me at that point in time, I was 17. Our house burnt down. I didn't even have a shirt on when it burnt because I was outside. I was doing some work. I was the only one there. I was home alone. So all I had were shorts and whatever was on my feet, shoes. And I was outside mowing the grass. The house caught fire. I couldn't do anything to, put it out. But we lost everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I can remember getting a new pair of shoes, I think it was the day after that from somebody, and I remember what they looked like. I mean, it just vivid in my head. It burned in my head. But we lived in a community that had a bunch of givers. There were families there, my friends' families outside the community that came and gave. And, it was amazing because I saw how that giving not only impacted me, but impacted my whole family, but it actually impacted me psychologically because I was like, man, this happened, and literally, what are we going to eat? What am I going to wear? Literally had nothing, just not even a shirt. What am I going to wear? the next day we're in a home. We have shelter. We have enough food. We have all these clothes coming in. We have gift cards. We have and more. We just people bringing food. We found out where we were going to be living, and that's where my mother and father still live to this day. But it was just amazing the impact that when people pull together like that can have. But it has had, we talk about the ripple effects. It has had ripple effects on me
Yeah.
because it really laid the groundwork for, wow, like we had nothing. And it's not like the people around me had a whole lot, but they gave, I believe, if you asked any of them. It'd be interesting if any of those folks were listening to get some comments about it, because I know a lot of them had to have remembered it
Yeah.
because it was amazing how everybody pooled their resources. They didn't give from their scarcity, they gave from their abundance, and nobody asked
Ooh.
questions. And it has really set that. And any time like the holidays coming up, and I think about gratitude and giving and being grateful for that,
Yeah.
but laying that groundwork that it laid in my brain of being able to give back. There's always something you can do. Like, I can't give financial resources to everybody, but I can give a little bit of a time. As you said, I can give a compliment.
Yeah.
I can give an affirmation.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to tell you about an event we have coming up on January 18th from 9 to 3 at Concord Church, and that is our third annual Vision Day. Now, I know everyone likes to set goals at the beginning of the year, but this is our intentional way of doing that to help you define and align with your priorities and expectations at work, at school, at home, etc. We're going to be working on personal alignment, practical teaching, and purposeful direction. And you can sign up now for this event at centerforvictory.com under the events tab. And spots are limited. So if you are a teenager and above, you are more than welcome to come. We actually would really love to see you there, but make sure you get your spot now by signing up, and maybe keep an eye out on our Black Friday sale that we'll have coming up shortly. Don't miss out. We'd love to have you there. Let's make 2025 the best year yet. And now back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
I think as somebody who always makes me smile here, you didn't see her yet this morning, did you? Sunshine.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Judine, I've
by
got to
her.
give her, like, she just the impact that she has to bring a smile to my face. There's a lot of people here that do that anyhow,
sure.
but yeah, we kind of started around the same times here, but she's just has a huge impact, and just her presence. She's not giving me $20, $50 bills every time I see her. She's just
No.
giving me a smile
Yeah.
and and a hug, or a hey, great to see you kind of thing, and it means the world. And I think that's where we kind of want to go with this. Is like,
Yeah.
when we're living in a world that's today is so divisive against one another, and I don't agree with everybody. All right,
No.
but we can give to one another out of the kindness of our heart. We can say a kind word. We don't
Yeah.
have to be cruel to each other all the time. We can
Well, yeah, and
say a nice word. We can do things that
Yeah.
are generous. We can open a door for somebody.
Yeah. I think too, if you're giving, and I guess I should say not if, but when you do give, I do think there's such a power in the perspective you have about it. Because if you're going into something giving and you're saying, well, I have to do this, I have to go give this person food, or I have to go babysit for this person while they have dinner, or I have to go, it's literally diminishing the value of giving. So I think as you give, remind yourself, like, you get to do this.
Yeah.
You have these resources now.
I'm
And
smiling
even if you
because I
don't
knew what
really,
you were going to say. That's
yeah, did you? It's like a wavelength
Yeah.
right here. But yeah, I think if you're giving, or when you give, do it because you get to, not because you have to, and you'll see a world of difference. I mean, there's so much joy that comes from, I guess, celebrating with that person too. Just being like, hey, I know this is a good thing, and I'm happy about it, and I'm stoked that you're here, and that you exist. And yeah, it was like, I think of with Caleb. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times he thanked me for doing. I didn't even feel like I did that much, but I would give to him because we call him a golden retriever. He's just that kind of person who
Yeah.
makes you feel better just by him being him.
Yep.
And so be that person, I think. Is if you're giving, be the person that people want to be around and people want to receive from. And that'll help people be vulnerable, I think, too, to receive because that's hard as well.
Yeah, but speaking of giving, let's just stop a second.
Yeah.
We are big supporters of a nonprofit here in Pittsburgh called ATP, Adventures with Training with the Purpose. We just had the event with them. We just had a curtain call with them Saturday.
It was awesome.
But if you're looking for a place to give, we're going to drop a link. Where do we drop it?
I can I can
Somewhere.
put it. Yeah, it'll be in the caption or
Okay. So wherever
maybe
we
I'll
put it,
edit it in this.
yeah, wherever we put it, if you're looking for a place to give, please consider that. They do
Yeah.
great work with our first responders and our veterans, and God knows that we could support our first responders and veterans even better than we do. So if you're looking
Yeah.
for a place to give, especially financially, they're always accepting donations
Yeah.
or give of your time, whatever it might be. But
Yeah, like I walked in there and I had like chills. I mean, the things that they do for people, and not even for people, but with people. I mean, it is a team, it's a family in there. It's such a good place to support. I mean, I've definitely seen us support a lot of places, but this one might be my favorite.
yeah,
So, and plus, I love Caleb so much. So,
yeah, it definitely is. I mean, one of the things that when we talk about giving Thanksgiving, to kind of wrap into this is the whole essence of gratitude, being grateful for the things that are given and not taking them for granted. I mean, we're going to wake up, God willing, next Thursday morning, or whenever. We're going to wake up Thursday morning. I don't know when this is going to be aired, but we're going to wake up Thursday morning.
Thursday.
At Thanksgiving, and we're going to have a roof over our head, a nice roof over our head. We're going to have family around. We're going to have a huge meal in front of us, and we're going to have conversation. We're going to have love, and some people don't have that. And
Yeah.
Sometimes we do take it for granted. I know the times. I remember the time when one specific time when Josiah, I took your brother to Africa on Thanksgiving, and we came back right before Christmas. And at Christmas, he started, he was very young, probably about 12 years old. He started crying just because he experienced gratefulness, because he was like, I can't believe that I get all these. I mean, he was in tears, because he saw the poverty everybody lived in. I mean, he and I visited. One of the orphanages that we visited was young kids. All of them, every single kid there had AIDS, and they're being watched over by wonderful people. But those wonderful people are only 4 people, and with 40 kids. But my point, at dinner time, these kids, this lady, I can't remember her name, but she would get this drum off the wall and just start banging it. And you see these little kids, 2, 3 years old, start dancing. And they had little drums on the wall that these little kids could pick up and start drumming. And this was just before dinner. And like, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, because here it is. Again, we're in Africa. All these children, every single one of them, have AIDS. They've been abused. They've been left behind. And here they are right before dinner, a dinner that we would think is probably garbage, right?
Yeah.
Dancing right before the meal. And the gratefulness and seeing those young boys and girls dancing around, celebrating what they were going to have. And, the lady and the gentleman that ran the orphanage just getting excited and being so thankful for that. Just brought so much joy and energy to those surroundings. It was amazing. So I do think having, being able to give, but giving out of abundance, but also being grateful for all those things. I'm thinking of something right now. I don't know if you're on the same wavelength still, but
Yeah, we'll see.
I want to give people a task to do, like this Thanksgiving, as far as giving and being grateful. what do you think about, we've done this quite a bit,
Oh,
created just everything that we're grateful for, just list it down.
yeah.
Wouldn't that be a cool thing for everybody to wake up Thanksgiving and
Yeah.
just list down everything that they're grateful for? You don't even have to say why, but
No, like I remember when I told my students about this back when I was teaching, and we did this whole unit on being like a kindness kid. And I think, well, and I was gonna say too, when we were talking about our family, I always think of the Mr. Rogers quote, like look for the helpers.
yeah,
And I think that's why giving has felt so natural, because of our mentality, like be the helper, look for those helpers, and surround yourself with those people so you can give even more. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I would just say write what you're grateful for, even if you think it sounds stupid. It doesn't. And of course, I don't know if I used the word stupid, but I did teach sixth grade, so I might have. And I would even just be like the color of the leaves when it was fall, or, that it was warmer today, or that I got to wear my favorite outfit. Like, even if it seems small, that's when it matters, is the moments where you're grateful for things that most of the time you're overlooking or you're not even thinking about. Or, I like to buy clothes. So I think when I'm grateful for the stuff I already have, it definitely helps, especially with Black Friday being
Yeah.
the next day. So yeah, just find something to be grateful for. And if you don't think you have something, look harder. If you're not being kind to the people around you today, try harder. I hate saying that, it sounds insensitive, but because sometimes people are like, well, I don't know what to be grateful for. Well, you just talked, you're breathing,
breathing, yep,
you're talking to,
yeah.
your family, your friends, whoever it may be. So just find something. And if you can't find something, wear some binoculars or look harder.
Look harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Let's wrap it up there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's good, guys. Hopefully you got something out of this. Maybe just some encouragement. I think we can all. I mean, just talking through this, I need to hear it again.
Yeah.
I
Hopefully
need to.
you
I
can
need
give
to.
something out of this too.
Yeah, get something in, give something. That's a
Right.
good one. Yeah.
Boomerang it.
Yeah. So let's create more of a grateful attitude out there. Let's do things that help people and stop looking at our differences and look what we can give to one another and create a better atmosphere, a better community, a better culture of folks that really embrace and get along. And with that, any last words or?
I don't know. Spread love like you're made of it. That's been my word and my mantra, I guess, this year. So
That's good. So go ahead and try that on Thanksgiving Day. Just wake up, do your gratitude list.
post it on your story so we can see it.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
idea too. So let's do that. And this has been good. This is like
Happy
I said,
200.
This is happy 200. This has been a great time. Hopefully we've got another 200 in us.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully we're just getting started with this. I know it reaches, so like it, share it with other people, and thanks for commenting, the ones that have been, and sharing it. We really
Yeah.
appreciate all of that. Spread the news, and
Yeah.
cultivate giving and an attitude of gratitude.
Amen.
All right. That's all for today, folks. You can find more information at centerforvictory.com. And just remember, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make this your best day yet. We'll see you soon.